Hi, Jamrel and other members of our social media team. I wanted to try and experiment on how we can work together because I'm on the East Coast and it, there are some pretty big time zone challenges there. So I wanted to tell you about the project that I'm hoping to have you to assign to you um, by recording a video of the topic, of the details of the topic and see if and ask you to do the write up on it, and we'll see how it goes. Um, I originally wasn't assigned the responsibility of working together with you, but I recently saw the quality of your work in Jamrel in your response to Rufus's request on Slack, and I could see this is a this is a very good resource. These are very strong talent resources, and I'm currently managing our sales operations, and I think you could be very helpful in those in that. So I had the idea of a writing piece, or to do some work to identify writing. To identify content that would support our sales operations and to work together with you to make that to have that content created. Um, so so the post that I have in mind for this assignment, and there may be more if this works well. This is an assignment about this would be a post about the KN95 masks from Tricol. If this works out well, we would hope to have you do a post on a problem that we're able to solve for Amazon sellers that are experiencing, or for brands whereby Amazon sellers are pricing their products under the manufacturer's suggested retail price, undercutting the other seller. It's another topic, but if this works well, it would be very helpful if you can create this content that is aligned with our sales operations and the work that we're actually doing with our technology in the market to support to provide evidence of the business problems we're solving. Um, with real stories of how we actually solved those. It serves a couple of purposes. It serves the purpose of customer success management because the customers we're serving can take this content and show it to other stakeholders in their organizations to support the decisions that they've made to implement our tech. For one thing, it also obviously supports our marketing and sales operations. So today, the post that I have in mind is a story whereby we have provided our solution to Tricol, as you know, who are able to tag their masks and reference information, certificate of authenticity information by way of the tag. And the masks were originally manufactured as KN95 masks, which are capable of performing at a certain level according to the regulatory authorities. There is also another mask type that is superior to the KN95 mask. As you know, it is the N95 mask. And in order to have your product designated as an N95 mask, it must perform at a higher level in terms of filtering particulate matter. So, what has happened here is Tricol's masks that we were able to tag for them, it's something like 100,000 masks. I don't remember the detail. It may be 300,000, so we'll have to double check on that. But they tagged the 100,000 masks, let's say, with our solution. And those masks, again, were originally manufactured to meet KN95 mask specification requirements. And they received CE certification. which is the certification, of course, for the European Union or the European Economic Area. But those masks were put through North American, the process by which NIOSH certification for the Americas, or at least for America, it's actually just for America, I believe. NIOSH certification, NIOSH, in order such that those masks can be designated as N95 masks, the superior premium mask type. Now, the reason why this is a success story for our customer is that the new event wherein the masks that were already produced at the produced and tagged at the factory with the designation of KN95 are now able to be sold as N95 masks, and the event wherein that certification was approved can now be written to the record, the non-fungible record associated with each pack of masks, so that when a hospital or any consumer or end user or any party uh, scans the item to reference that item's record on the VeChain blockchain, they're able to verify that that pack of masks has received approval for NIOSH certification and is therefore and thereby an N95 mask in fact. And this is so there are some details that I want to talk about why this is a big deal. Uh, so what has happened here is that now, as you may know, and I'm going to talk about some things in this video to provide details about some details about how blockchain works that I'm going to ask you to include in this post, I think, because while you may know blockchain, a lot of the customers to which we are appealing don't necessarily know anything about blockchain. In fact, you probably don't know, but my work history with blockchain includes last year having sold a VeChain implementation to a food company in China. And when I first got started working with the leadership of that company, they knew nothing about blockchain, and I mean nothing. I mean, they had heard of Bitcoin, and they had heard of blockchain and Bitcoin, and that's really all. So I had to take them through a whole education on how everything works. So as you have written actually in our your recent piece, that recent post, we aren't assuming that we're talking to other crypto people. We're talking to business leadership who we don't know where they are in their crypto journey. So I'm thinking that for a lot of our posts, we're going to want to build some education into the post. So a simple story followed by some helpful education details that help them grow in their knowledge of how this technology works. So back to the idea of how and why this development represents value is that, so again, the new event whereby the masks have received NIOSH certification approval, that new event can be written to the blockchain by adding information into a transaction. Well, I don't want to get too detailed about blockchain. Need to frame this step by step. So to keep it simple, the new event new events can be written to the record that is attached to the product, that is attached to the real items tag on the product. And when that happens, um, that information can be referenced at any point in the future by, again, just scanning the item. And when the item is scanned, the user will always be brought to the single record of that product's life cycle. And in this case, it's going to show that this product can be used as an N95 mask. So I'm going to give you something like a product demo uh, as to how something about this works. And again, I don't know, I haven't had a chance to talk with you because the time zones are just too difficult. And either way, there are some education details that we want to provide to our potential customers in the content that you create. So I'm going to walk through some very basics of how when when a record is when information such as an event is added to a record on the blockchain, um, why it is that it actually cannot be faked. Maybe it can, but it's prohibitively difficult, and it is the reason why blockchain is such a big deal for businesses and for the future of really all industries. So I'm going to explain something about how this process works and why it cannot be faked. And it's something I'm hoping that you can use as an answer to why, when a company like Tricol is able to represent that its product that something has happened with the product after it has been shipped out, that um, that attestation to the event that occurred is can be believed, can be trusted. Because what are we talking about here? Let me give two examples. So I've given you the example of how Tricol is using our technology to represent, by way of a record that's attached to the product, that a new event has occurred in relation to that product, that something has happened to the product. And they've done it by writing a new event to the blockchain and connecting that event with the tag, the real items tag, that's associated with the product on the blockchain, which is called an NFR, a non-fungible record. That's what the record is called. So that's one way to do it. That's the new way to do it. That's our way. It's very innovative, and it has some extreme benefits of authenticity and verification viability that I'm going to explain. But first, before I do that, let's of course take note of the existing method for representing that a new event has occurred in relation to a product such as these vitamins. I don't have a pack of masks here. David is shipping them to me, has shipped them to me, but they're not here yet. So I'm using this vitamin bottle. The traditional method of representing some new event or something in relation to the product is to just put a new sticker on it. Just to find a place like maybe here and just put add a new label saying something. In the case of our masks, they could put just add a label saying covering the KN95 so that it says N95, and that's all. That is the traditional way of handling these kinds of things, and there's all of the weaknesses that go along with that. So the reason why it's such a big deal, I'm going to give you an explanation of why what we offer can actually be verified as legitimate, and why it can't be faked without some extreme effort. So the Tricol will likely have one of their distributor with these masks to actually just add a new label onto these existing masks that says N95. But that isn't all. And for there to be only this added label, it's such a weak representation. An end user can see that it's been added after the fact at some point, and it's just like, okay, all right, really? So that's the status quo. Now, so let's talk about why it is and how it's such a big deal for, well, really, why blockchain as a solution here is legitimate, why it actually works, and why it cannot be faked. So I'm going to talk about how basic things with blockchain, how they work, in order to explain why it is that this process, this whole verification process, cannot easily be faked. It probably can't be faked at all in any meaningful or lucrative or profitable way once it's been implemented, once it's been adopted. At any rate, so what are we talking about here when I talk about this process being faked? So, all right, so here we are. We're going to say that this vitamin company has implemented our tech, and we're going to. I need a better demo. I need an actual real items tagged product. I don't have one at the moment, but let's say this is a real items tag, and it isn't. Obviously, we use QR codes with a PIN uh, for second factor authentication. And so, let's say that a company has implemented our tech, and they are thereby providing their customers, their consumers, with a way to verify the authenticity of this bottle of vitamins with their phone by scanning the tag and having their phone display information about the provenance of this product, where it came from, the date that it was packaged, what materials, what ingredients, what are the active ingredients, if any, in these vitamins, and the date that it was shipped out to the maybe wholesale distributor or something like that. That's all displayed here. Well, why is it that why is it that this is legitimate? Why is it that this representation of events that occurred can actually be trusted? Anybody can make create a solution whereby you scan a QR code on a product and have the phone direct you to a landing page that says something. Okay, this product came from here and it was packaged on this date and it comes from this source. Anybody, any 12-year-old developer can build a solution to bring a consumer to a landing page that says, yeah, this product was tracked on the blockchain, and here are some strange looking cryptographic letters and numbers that look techie. This looks techie enough. Okay, yeah, that's block. Well, that actually potentially can be faked. But here's the thing that cannot be faked. I'm going to actually take you through how it is that this stuff works in a way such that um, because of certain components of of functionality of how blockchain works, that this actually cannot be faked. So to do that, I need to talk a little bit about so we're going to talk about how transactions are created and recorded on the blockchain in order to demonstrate that this process cannot be faked. So let's say, for example, at the vitamin factory, there's an operations manager, and it's that operations manager's responsibility to record the event on the blockchain that represents the packaging of these vitamins. So how is it that that actually takes place? Well, um, the way that transactions are recorded. Let's talk about what transactions are. As we know, or as we may know, as you may know, as I'm sure you know actually about what information there is in transactions, it can be just about any kind of text. It can be any kind of information. So, of course, in the case of Bitcoin, the information in a transaction is just about money. It's how much, who sent it, and who received it. Now, of course, however, any information can be put into a transaction on blockchain, that into a transaction that then gets mined into a block that is then appended to the existing blockchain. And in our case, we're including the information about this bottle of vitamins in the transaction, where it came from, how much it weighs, the date that it was packaged, the date it was sent out, etc. So, in order to create that transaction, again, we have the example of our operations manager at the vitamin factory. And what he or she is going to do is use a cryptocurrency wallet that I think you may have some understanding of. Our social media team, you may have some understanding of. But we're looking at writing an article that includes some, I don't know if we'll include all of this, but some version some volume of educational content that brings our potential customers along on a journey whereby they need to understand some aspects of blockchain. Their customers, their end users don't need to understand this level of detail, but in order for us to effectively sell our solution, the companies that we talk to have to understand how blockchain works. And the stuff I'm going to talk about right now is very basic. So again, the operations manager is going to create a transaction with the information about the vitamins in the transaction, and then have that transaction be added to the blockchain. And how is that done? It's done with a cryptocurrency wallet. Now, as you may know, a cryptocurrency wallet is simply an application on your machine that you use to do a couple of things. You can do a couple of things with it. First of all, a crypto wallet has something called a public-private key pair. So we're going to talk about that. Um, First, let's talk about the public key. The public key is sometimes otherwise referred to as a wallet address. And you probably know this. Every cryptocurrency wallet, in the case of our operations manager at the vitamin factory, he or she is using a VeChain cryptocurrency wallet. And that wallet has a wallet address, sometimes called a public key. Anyway, we'll call it a wallet address for now. So that wallet address can be used in two ways. First is to receive funds. You can use it like a bank account. Share the number. A wallet address, as you probably know, is just a long string of numbers and letters, and it can be used like a bank account. It can be shared like a bank account number. You can tell someone, "Here's my bank account number. Please send funds to this address." You may follow YouTubers who accept donations, and in the description below their video, they will say, "Here's my Bitcoin address. Please feel free to donate to this address. Send Bitcoin to this address." The other way that a wallet address is used is that the software application, the wallet itself, the software application wallet, has that wallet address, and you can use that wallet to create transactions that are then uh, added to the blockchain, included in the blockchain. And when you create those transactions, the address associated with the transaction will be that wallet address. So they are inextricably linked. The transaction will have an address that was used to create the transaction. So the other thing that wallets have, as I said, there's a public key and a private key, a public-private key pair. The private key cannot be shared. It has to be kept a secret. If it's leaked or stolen, it can result in funds being stolen or leaked information being stolen. And so you usually keep a private key on a device like something like this hardware device. And in order to create transactions, you have to have this available, and you plug it into your machine in order to sign the transaction with your private key. So that is how our operations manager at the vitamin factory creates the transaction to represent the provenance of these vitamins. Now, I'm going to show you how it is that that wallet address plays a very important role in the verification of the legitimacy of this process, or the legitimacy of the process of verification of these products, of real items tagged products. So what happens when a consumer scans an item with their phone? I'm going to show you what they then see. So actually, I'm going to skip a step where it first says this item is authentic. And there are some fireworks and or confetti on the phone screen. And it says, congratulations, you have an authentic product. It then offers to bring you to, it then offers to accept your email address if you want to go beyond that step. Many consumers are just going to want to verify that they have a legitimate product, and that's good enough for them. They're done. They're going to go ahead and eat their tomato, or they're going to give these vitamins to their children because they have verified that it's an authentic product. But some users will want to go further. Not many, but perhaps maybe some YouTubers will want to go further. You know, the way that things work these days is that everything is influencer marketing. So yeah, many consumers are not going to want to go deeper into the process of verifying the authenticity of a product on the block by viewing its record on the blockchain. But they're going to want to know something about how that works, or they're going to want to have confirmation that there is legitimacy behind this process. And so, you know, these days, many people follow like an Instagram account or Twitter influencers or YouTubers, and they rely on those influencers to provide them with recommendations. So there might be like a YouTuber that routinely talks about healthy foods, or there might be a yoga YouTuber that does product recommendations for healthy foods or organic foods or something like that, or ethically sourced products, ethically sourced textile products, or something like that. So they will, so that YouTuber will want to may create a video with some screen sharing where they do go forward with what I'm about to show you to to be able to serve as the as some kind of not authority, but yeah, something like as an authority for so that others don't have to go about this. And the important thing here is that although not many consumers are going to go further with verifying the product's provenance on the blockchain, the important point is that this can be done. So for those who do it, this is what they're going to see after they enter. If they go further, they're going to enter their email address, and they're going to be then have a real items account created for them. And the item that they have that they've procured will then be the digital ownership. The digital ownership of that item will then be transferred to that purchaser, it's thereby placed in their real items account. And so again, I need a better demo because now I have coffee. This is my real items account, and you can see here that I have coffee. This is a bag of very expensive coffee that I think you've seen on, you know, from our other the other work that you have, your existing work with the company. But this is our company, Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. It's like $40 for an extremely small bag, $100 for a pretty small bag, and so it's a premium coffee, and so that's what this is. And I have this coffee in my account. Um, so if I'm sorry, I just got a call here, distracted me. Um, I have received this item. I'm gonna then take a look at it by clicking here, and okay, what do we have here? What am I looking at? Oh, okay, so it says you own this item. And well, all right. So as you probably know, you've probably seen our product demo at, you know, where you can see that this is what we offer our customers the ability to do is upload information about their products for their consumers to then view. And so there's this basic page which just has some photos, some information about the product. And then there's what do you have over here? Controls. Oh, okay. So here's where we can actually review the certificate of authenticity for the product. That's interesting. Oh, look. Okay, so in every industry, there's some kind of certificate of some type of COA, and in this case, it's this outfit called Jacra, and that's what we have there for our COA. Now, what is the services? Okay, let's take a look here. Actually, this certificate of analysis is the same thing. It has that there. But going back to services, what? Oh, okay, so we have causes and recycle. There's a recycling manual, and then there are causes, which David gets into that value add. Well, we won't talk about that here. What we want to look at is blockchain. Oh, what's this? Huh. Okay, so we have a transaction ID and a transaction origin. A block. Well, this is pretty techy stuff. I'm not sure what all this means, but let's take a look here. Okay. All right. So this is called a block explorer, as you probably know. It allows you to view information, the specific details about a transaction on the blockchain. And this is the transaction that, okay, well, we were saying that we had vitamins at a vitamin factory. Let's say we're actually talking, so it's a coffee factory now. It's a coffee production plant. And the operations manager at the coffee production plant created this transaction that represents that our coffee was packaged, or that the transact here's the timestamp for the transaction. And here are some events. What's this? Okay, events. Now, again, I need a better demo because, as I said originally, any information about a product, about any information can be included in a transaction. And this is not human readable, but let's pretend for the purpose of our example here that this is human readable text because it can be. And it will say, okay, so this bag of coffee was created. It was okay. So the beans were picked on this date. They were roasted on this date, grinded or ground on this date, packaged on this date, and maybe shipped to the distributor on this date. So here is the information about the coffee's provenance. Now, what's this here? Origin. Okay, what's this? Now, this is the wallet address that was used to create this transaction. You can see here it's 0x03D016, and here you can see if we go back to services and blockchain. And so transaction origin 0x03D0. Okay, so yeah, this brought us here. It's the same address. This is the wallet address that our operations manager used to create the transaction, recording the provenance of this product on the VeChain blockchain. Now, here's the end of the story. A end user, such as a YouTuber or any other consumer, can use this address and independently verify that this is the address used at the coffee production plant to make representations about their product. They can make someone can make an inquiry directly to the coffee company and say, can you please tell me what the address is that you use to record transactions on the VeChain blockchain? I want to compare the address that you say that you use with the address that I'm seeing when I scan and verify my real item. And the coffee company will reply. Either maybe the coffee company will include their wallet address on their homepage. Companies can go about this in any number of ways. They could confirm it over the phone, an email, however. And that end user will be able to verify that, in fact, after receiving the wallet address from the coffee company, that it matches this wallet address. And so that is how this whole process of scanning and verifying items really can't be faked without some kind of extreme or extraordinary effort of malfeasance. And so to wrap up the story, again, we were originally talking about KN95 masks getting approved for use as N95 masks, and thereafter a label being applied to the pack of masks packaging. What we're able to do is so much more than simply adding a label after the fact, outside of the factory, downstream in the supply chain. We're able to have the original source make an attestation by writing that new event to the record that is on the non-fungible record associated with that item that's on the VeChain blockchain. And so, yeah, that's why this is all legitimate. That's why it's such a big deal. It's why it represents so much value, is because end users have a direct connection now with the source of the product, and sometimes that's such a revolution because of how much of a distance there can be between an end user who is considering giving food or vitamins to their children. The distance between that end user consumer and the factory. So, okay, so I wanted to make this video to ask you to to accept a writing assignment uh, to to tell the story of how Tricol is able to make this representation about their mask. And it's a significant representation. KN95 masks are N95 masks are highly desirable in comparison to KN95 masks. So to be able to represent with solid legitimacy that their masks are in fact KN or N95, um, when they were originally shipped out as KN, it's a it's a it's great utility. This represents great utility for Tricol, the company. So I just wanted to see if you could tell that simple story and then document to the best of your ability in a way that I think that's digestible to business leadership of our potential customers, how it is and why that representation, how it is and why that the representation of that new event that has occurred for the product is so much is superior, so vastly superior to having a company simply slap on a new label over the existing label downstream in the supply chain. And I think it tells a good story. I think it really highlights a selling point of our tech and blockchain in general as a solution. Um, so hope that works. Again, this is an experiment. I'm gonna look forward to hearing back from you, and you let me know what you think. Thank you. Me 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 me.